Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Good afternoon, our viewers. I know those are people that are, for example, in Uganda, East Africa, and other countries. I know some of you are saying good morning, others actually saying good night. I am Dr. Hanifah Ssengendo. My background, I studied medicine, human medicine. I'm a pediatrician, but with passion, I'm a transformational coach. I like talking to people, whether they are parents, they are, wives, wherever they are children. That's my passion. I'm excited to host a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, to discuss pertinent issues. And before we go any further, I would like the viewers to know who is this Hajat. If someone finds you on the way and they say, who is this person? Who are you?
Thank you, Dr. Hanifah. To our viewers, good morning, good afternoon, and good night to everybody in East Africa, in Uganda, in the diaspora. Hi, everybody. I am Zauja and Ndifuna. Those are my names. A teacher by profession, a mother by profession, a parent as well, and that's me. That's what I want people to know about me. I'm an educationist and very passionate at that.
Oh, you've even added you are passionate.
I'm passionate about my own profession. Okay. I love it, I like it, because I touch people's lives.
Okay.
And their life changes. And they see what they have to do for their own good in their own future. So I'm an educationist. Okay. Yes, please.
So since the viewers are coming from wherever, would you feel offended if I just keep saying Zauja, Hajat Zauja?
I am perfectly
because now you have
okay.
the other big name, people may not be able to say it.
That's what I love most.
Okay.
I'm not offended. I like my name, and that's me. It doesn't make me any less.
Okay.
So I am Zauja.
That's nice to hear. By the way, also you can just call me Hanifah. That's fine.
Okay.
It makes me feel younger.
Although I'm used to calling you Dr. Hanifah, but I'm fine.
I know. By the way, I realize when you talked about education, you added a very important word. You said you are passionate about education. So how is your education like? Are you a PhD holder? Are you at level? I'm just interested in your education first. Okay. Then I pick why you have passion for that.
Okay. I am a graduate. Okay. Right through my education. I want to start at the graduate level. Okay. I did Bachelor of Arts with Education.
But did you do primary school?
Yes, I did. Yes, I thought that is because by the time you get to a degree, then you have gone through the primary, you have gone through the secondary, and therefore you are at the university. Okay. So I am a bachelor's degree holder with education at Makerere University, or from Makerere University. Then even when I went for further studies, I took on a master's degree in education administration and management. Okay. And currently I'm a PhD student, and I am specializing in higher education studies and development in Makerere University, still the East African School of High Studies of Higher Education and Development Studies. So that's me. But by practice, I've been a teacher for over 30 years.
30 years? Mm-hmm. In the education sector?
I have never done any job other than being a teacher. So I've been teaching for quite some time, and I grew to like the interaction with the adolescents, the interaction with the parents, the interaction with what it means to be in school. what it means to parent people, what it means to see people growing and they become mature and responsible. Hanifah, believe me or not, the teachers who taught you, and I must say here to the viewers that we went to the same school with you. That is Chivuli Senior Secondary School.
The school.
The school. So the teachers who taught us, these days I interact with my former head teacher, Haj Abbas Kawas Mokasa. And he is so excited whenever he sees me, and he likes what I'm doing, and he encourages me all the time. You know, it feels good. It feels fulfilling. It feels satisfying to see a child who began with you in senior 1 and now is a responsible lady or gentleman. So that's what I love about teaching. And I must say this as well. I usually laugh at, I have my brothers and sisters who are professional doctors like you, and I laugh at them. I say, oh, you know what it means? You, the doctors, you are there when someone is being given birth to. You receive us when our mothers are delivering us. But when it comes to graduation and celebrating success, I've never heard of anyone who says, oh, my doctor, I hope she's here for graduation.
No way.
They are always talking about teachers. So I love teaching, and it has a lot of social capital. It has a lot of fulfilling achievements. It has a lot of so many things. I
actually realized. I remember I entered some head teacher's office.
Yes, please.
And there was a writing on the wall that I keep thinking about. It was reading that the teaching profession that makes all other professions. Have you heard of? Is it in your ethics?
It's not even
somewhere?
Questionable.
It's not
even questionable. It's the teachers who make all other professions
keep you healthy.
And most countries across the world, the teachers are really valued. Go to India, go to Germany, go to America, so it's where teachers are really valued. Even in UK. So a teacher means a lot. You are the ones, we are the ones who make other professions. We are the ones who make people what they want to be. I mean, education is a very...
So you are the one who makes the doctor.
We are the ones who make the Hanifahs and everybody.
That's a very strong point. And and now I'm starting to appreciate why you said I'm passionate about being an educationist. But you know, when I was trying to understand you, are you just a teacher by profession and you are teaching in people's schools, running here and there, or you have an add-on? You know, passion always calls you to be more than just a teacher.
I am a teacher by profession. I'm a teacher by blood. This one I must say. Even my grandfather, even my own dad. My dad died when he was an education officer. And I'm always very proud about this. My father, Ndifuna, the late, may Allah forgive him for his shortcomings. I'm one of the children who took after his profession. So I'm a teacher by birth. I'm a teacher by blood. I'm a teacher by practice. I'm a teacher. But your question is, you are asking me whether I'm moving around to teach in other people's schools. I must say I only worked in the government school for 2 years.
In a government
school for 2 years. So I quit government service after 2 years.
But you didn't quit the teaching?
I didn't quit the teaching, but I left from government, teaching in a government school, and I joined private sector, where I started my own schools, and then today I'm talking about schools.
So I was going to pick that because I was about to think that you made a mistake. I thought you were going to say I started my school, but I realized you say I have now started my schools. There is an S. What does that mean?
And since then I have grown. In the education sector.
So you have more than
bigger
one?
And bigger. So I am not a pension worker. So I started working on my pension as early as 2 years after university. So I joined the private sector. And I started with a girls' school, Mbogo High School.
Okay.
But today I'm talking about more than one institution. So growing within the private sector. Okay. So that is who I am.
So Zauja, let me understand you. Yes. So you are talking of schools that you are an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You started schools just 2 years. There is something very important to pick from there.
Yes, please.
That even if you had just out on it for 2 years, you had the entrepreneurship in you, and now you are not only talking about starting a school, but there is an S.
Exactly.
So you have how many schools, Zauja?
Today we have 5 schools.
5. 1, 2, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 schools.
I have to
Mbogo
come.
High School,
Yes.
Mbogo Mixed School, Mbogo College School, Mbogo Junior School, Mbogo Secondary and Vocational. You know, at a certain point we said, can we now try to do something different?
Okay.
Because we had, me and my colleagues, we had about 4 secondary schools and a primary school. Now, when we got into opening up a 5th school, we said we should do it differently.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we said, we looked at the community, we looked at the future, and we realized we have to provide vocational skills as well to the learners. And we came up with Mbogo Secondary and Vocational schools.
You are actually making me to feel like I am not even a doctor enough. There seems to be genetics in career, because
yes, please.
You've just said that my dad died when he was an education officer. And here I'm seated with you.
Yes, please.
You are not only a teacher,
yeah.
You are not only an educationist, but you are passionate, but also an entrepreneur of not one school, but schools. That sounds something that, I am picking that, and I'm yet to learn more about that. But Zauja, as we move along with this conversation,
yes, Hanifah,
what is it that is in now as far as education is concerned? There is a time when you said that you are a parent,
yeah,
and I keep telling people that when our children go to school, whoever is around the child is the other parent. You have so many stakeholders
away from home.
Away from home,
you
are
the other parent
away
to
from
the children.
Home.
Yes, please.
So what is happening in the education sector? I want to first now be brought up to speed. We are we are diving deep into understanding you, but also understanding your area, which you said you are so passionate. What is happening around education institution or sector in Uganda, but also globally, because we know we are in the era of globalization?
Yes, please. Education is changing.
Okay.
In terms of content, what we are teaching the children. Today in Uganda, we are talking about thematic education at primary level. We are talking about lower secondary curriculum at high level. We are talking about so many changes that are coming in within the education system, integration of ICT, at even up to the higher level of education. Interdisciplinary programs here and there. We are talking about you can learn in different ways, okay? You can learn from wherever you are. You can learn with people who are not where you are, long distance learning. So there are so many changes that are taking place within the education sector. But concentrating on the primary and the secondary, for example, because this is where we have the sensitive edge.
Yes, I know. And for me as a doctor, the child's brain actually grows most, develops most at the primary level. By 8 years, you have maximum. And by 20, it's just a few of the things that are coming up.
Yes, please.
So what is it in there for primary and secondary? That, because you talked of it is changing.
It is changing.
And I liked when you said changing thematic areas, integration of ICT. So what is it for the viewers to know the changes, those changes that you are talking about?
Like I have said, the changes are quite many. What we are teaching in class, Hanifah, is not what we were taught previously.
Yeah.
Even the kind of teacher that is teaching today.
Oh, that teacher also is changing.
Different.
So you are saying what you are teaching and the teacher are all changing.
What parents are expecting from the schools is also different.
Now you have me.
So many changes that we really have to cope up with right from secondary. Even the tuition itself has also changed. Today, a child
tuition,
in primary,
what do you mean?
School fees.
Oh, okay.
A child in primary is paying more school fees than the child in secondary.
I've been realizing, and I was like, what is the issue?
Because, of course, they know that the generation today, parents love their babies more.
Yeah, by the way.
And they can do anything for them.
Yes.
The changes are really complex.
You talked
the
about
really
thematic
complex.
and CBC, the competence-based curriculum.
But at the same time, Hajat, before we get there, even the government itself has changed the education system, where they are now looking at UPE and USE. So,
yes.
Incidentally, education is a sector that touches each and every one.
I know. And
no wonder it is a key aspect in the Sustainable Development Goals, number 4. So, the countries have to cope up with what is expected. We are looking at everybody by 2030 must be able to read and write. What facilities are we putting in the schools? But at the same time, there is privatization coming in, and then the early childhood development is what is required at this level of education. Thematic in primary. School or home-based learning is taking place.
By
so
the way, it's coming up.
It is a complex. How does the parent help the children? How does a mother help the child at home to learn from home? What about those who cannot go to school? What about those who are not able to children who
have different abilities
with special needs.
Yes, so special needs or different abilities.
So it's really a broad sector. It's a complex sector. But now coming back to the mainstream, thematic education is all about teaching our children in the language that they understand.
Oh, the language.
The language that they understand. Because once they have the baseline, once they have the basics of the language, then that means they can learn easily, even when it comes to the English curriculum. So we are emphasizing teaching of our children in their local languages to learn from the environment where they are, and then be able to pick on from there or to relate to the bigger area.
But Zauja,
starting with the known, starting with what you're seeing, and then going into the unknown.
But Zauja, let me first, but do you know?
Yes, please.
You teachers have a lot to do, and educationists and advocates, you people who are in advocacy.
Yes, please.
Because as the world went into modernity, into globalization,
yes,
people thought that the foreign languages, for example, English, I was telling my son who has recently had a baby, I said, my dear, can you teach your son the local language? He seemed not to appreciate it very well because I should now say, in the previous education system, it looked like English is the only way that we can learn. I was just even remembering how people would be made to do punishments for speaking vernacular. They even wear like placards that have vernacular.
Exactly.
And I mean, it was punishable. So do you want to say that we are now, I don't know whether to say going backward, forward, by now letting our children learn using the thematic, the language.
They actually become better at the end of it all.
But for us parents, we are aware of that.
Once they migrate.
Okay.
The parents, we are still locked in the old
I would
belief
think
somewhere,
so.
somehow.
The better English you speak than the Luganda, the Rusoga.
We are still locked, and we say, even in our homes, the educated parents, they feel, they like you have rightly said, that your son wants the child to speak English. With Luganda, that is
a bit local and of low value,
and it's a big mistake. For us, me and you, we never spoke English when we are home. But we are speaking here, and we are speaking
I
English.
know, especially so when we are coming from the school, where we used to do our Luganda.
We never used to speak English from home because our parents, some of them were not very educated.
Yeah.
But the moment you stepped in school, I mean, learning English became
it is you know what, my son entered nursery in P4, rather when he was 4 years old.
Yes, please.
People laughed at him because when he entered, and when he entered nursery, the first baby class, he didn't know any English word.
Anything.
Within like just a month, he had learned even to say, I'm going to the washroom.
The rate at which they learn is very good.
It actually goes back to the science of early childhood development.
True.
Because you know, Zauja, that almost 80% of the brain development is informed by the environment
around the children.
So when you speak your Luganda, your Lusoga, your language, the child will pick it very fast.
Exactly.
And then when the English time comes, they can be able to speak what? After all,
we can't
be
able
speak
to
the
speak
English
everything.
the way the English speak it. so I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot.
That's it. Thematic is very okay for the children. Home-based learning are some of the new things that are coming up in our school system. At secondary level, we are now at the competence-based curriculum out of the knowledge-based curriculum.
So the other one
was the
where I was beaten for not cramming the formula that had 10 characters, X plus C plus N plus. So that was called
the knowledge-based curriculum.
So this new one
where
is called
the teacher was the only source of knowledge.
Okay, yes, yeah, of course.
And the learners are only just
taking
cramming, are only just taking
cramming.
Zauja. And exam oriented.
Oh yes.
So, but today we are saying the competence-based curriculum, which enables the learners to do some bit of critical thinking, developing their generic skills. They sit together, and the teacher is just a facilitator, and the learner is a problem solver. You present them with a problem. They sit in a group. Surprisingly, many children are able to come up with solutions to what they are being taught in a way that you wouldn't expect.
Zauja, do you know, I'm picking these things even selfishly because as a coach, as a teenager coach, I've recently noted that our children cannot solve small problems. You find recently there was a child, they could not cook food because gas was over and there was no power.
But the parents, mommy and daddy were not.
They were not home.
They were not home.
But outside, they have an outside kitchen, but it had charcoal. So they hadn't taken food the whole day
because there was no gas, there was no electricity.
And electricity were finished. So they could not solve a simple problem of moving outside their comfort zone, because you've talked about critical thinking. That means
problem solving.
Those children were not solving a problem. They were not critically thinking that we can actually cook food outside the usual normal gas and electricity, and then we are able to solve the problem of hunger, and then we are able to do other things because then we are not hungry.
So now that is the creativity that the lower secondary curriculum is emphasizing.
Okay, creativity.
It is the creativity the lower secondary curriculum is emphasizing.
So are you now only looking at solving problems with the children? But remember, you said we are looking at the child, we are looking at the parent, the government, you've talked about it. So how are these things going to benefit us as parents? Because everyone around the child now, it seems now you, the educationists, you are saying you are handling them. Now what about us parents who think that I only need to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer to thrive?
Eventually they will break away to those professions. They will break away to those professions because what we are teaching them is like you used to have O-level previously, then eventually you went, you specialized, you did your sciences, I did my arts, and then you became a doctor, and then I became a
eventually
teacher.
They are going also to divide.
Eventually they will break through and break away and go to the different professions. You'll have those who are good at sciences, and those who are good at arts, and those who are good at business subjects. We are not putting the concept that has come in now is you do not only rely on the teacher, because you also learn how to solve problems, and you also think critically, and you can also creativity as early as possible. So the brain is being much sharpened, and at the end of it all, these other skills that they are learning, it means, Hanifah, that even a senior 1 child or a senior 2 child, during the long holiday, she can sit home and do something that is productive.
Yes.
Because a part of their learning is project activities.
Yes, the project.
So when she sees around, for example, you are in wherever you're staying, Hajat, and there is maybe a supermarket, and this girl is able to make snacks. Maybe that is her option in school.
Yes.
She'll tell you, "Mommy,
my daughter was making cookies during COVID."
During COVID. So, "Mommy, I need to. Can you please give me some small capital?" And then I make some cookies, and then we do some supplies. Instead of only going for coaching, and even during holidays, and the TV. So that
you are
kind
touching
of
my soft spot. That is part of parenting and coaching.
That kind of attitude of open-mindedness, of creativity, is what we are very happy about with this new curriculum. It's demanding.
But Zauja, for us parents, you haven't really. Are we open-minded? Because
the parents are taking some bit of time, not out of their own will, but it will take them time to learn and appreciate the value of the new
because Zauja, you know why I'm asking? Recently in Uganda, I'm sure it was all over social media and everywhere, where a child reportedly committed suicide because they had a misunderstanding with the mother or one of the parents who insisted that the child had to do sciences, whereas she wanted to do combination, and many, because you as an educationist,
yes, please,
I am sure, Zauja, many parents enter your office and they say, Hanifah must do because sciences. In our family we don't have a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer.
And
how
today,
are we?
And today, Ugandan government is pampering and paying more science teachers
I know.
Teachers.
Yes.
But back to your issue. How are parents coping up with the new lower secondary curriculum?
Because we are the one who pay fees.
It's a little bit challenging. But the good thing, the parent, the student, and the school. Many times parents are in a situation where they are not able to refute what the school says.
At least
they learn, they cope up, they have no option. Because once you put your child in school and the school is saying you have to
this
do
is the way
ABCD,
to go.
This is the way to go. Eventually they will find themselves learning. Those who are educated are also finding problems like reading the report. It is now not the old report where you had
80%.
No,
A.
It's not like that.
ABB.
Now we are yet to see what UNEB is going to do. So eventually they will learn and get on board and be into the system. Just the way you have those who do not understand even the old report. We shall still have those parents there.
So what you are saying is that
a big number will eventually learn. So again, the role the parent has to play is that this new curriculum is really demanding.
Demanding, what do you mean? Because you know we are in an economic situation where things are taking us process by process. And in Uganda we are kuzoganya. So I have picked that. You are saying that
it is so demanding.
Manchas, we are having these thematic sort of things. We are having the competence-based curriculum away from the knowledge-based curriculum. Demanding, you mean what? In the pocket?
In the pocket, the requirements that the students need, because the child will call you and say, Mommy, these are the things I want. I want beads, I want straws, I want a piece of cloth, I want
threads, I want
extra things that are required because they need to do these practical and project works and activities of whatever.
Integration,
so it is demanding. Previously, it was optional, but as of this new curriculum, a child must have something to do. Then, the books and the materials, that is also demanding. And even to us, the teachers, you need, where you used to print one paper of history in an exam, and you give the child, now you need like almost a booklet for the exam.
For the exam now,
because you have to present scenarios to these children. So you write a scenario. You almost write everything, creating a scenario which the child is going to study, interpret, and then give the answer. That means we shall put back the expense onto the parents, because we need more reams of paper.
Of course. So that means instead of 60 requirements, they will go to 69 or 70.
So it's a bit demanding.
But for me, I like when you started with the advantages, because we teach people about positivity. See the positive in every situation.
Exactly.
We are the same people who have been crying that our children are cramming.
Cramming. They cannot put what they have learned into practice. They are only passing exams after exams they have forgotten. So now these are the issues which the new curriculum is at.
So for me, I'm actually learning. You know, I like learning something new every day, because when I learn, I feel like I get more information, and then I improve. Starting with myself.
Yes, please.
And Zauja, you are picking very important statements. For example, when you are saying that for us as caregivers, guardians, or parents, we need actually to know that the locks that we are using have now turned. If technology is changing and we are no longer using the keys that even make noise, we are just using our palms to open doors and all that. That means you who is passionate about education, you need now to be deliberate and intentional to look at us, the different stakeholders around your children.
Yes, please.
For example, Zauja, can you have deliberate efforts to also coach parents so that we know that even the professions are going to change? Just when we entered here, you heard him talking about, we need children who can be able to work on camera. I see professions, in Stepping Stone.
Yes.
We have career coaching.
Yes.
And a child yesterday at one of the schools was telling me that Dr. Honey, they call me.
They call you
things
Dr.
are taking us process.
Yes, please.
I have to move with the Mulembe.
That's okay.
So the child said that he wants to be an aerodynamics engineer. I said, oh my God, what does that mean? That,
and where are you going to study this from?
So, yes, he said, I want to work on things that do with space.
Yeah.
Robotics. Someone said robotism. They talked of things. Let me tell you for sure, I don't know most of those professions. So what I did, I went back and read, and I found there was actually a study that shows that 80% of the professions that are going to be relevant in Uganda, East Africa, and beyond, 80% of them have not been defined. That's why right now you hear social media handler. You are hearing of influencers. So it is so critical. But Zauja, much as you are now focusing on the academics and whatever, are there other challenges around academics? Of recent, I've seen a lot of discipline things, character. And are you finding that as something that is a challenge? You as a person who can actually be sitting on boards. Zauja, you didn't tell me you sit on boards. Can you tell people? I anticipate that you must be sitting on certain boards.
Yeah, we are. We experience and we are going through discipline challenges with the youths, and partly to blame ourselves, partly to blame the parents, partly to blame the larger community, partly to blame the IT integration, the social media, the environment within which these children are growing. Today, Hajat, Hanifah, children are having phone as early as
even babies,
as early as
because
baby
I see
class.
them playing songs
as early as baby class.
Yes.
And we are parents, we are mothers in homes, and we are saying in esimu ya muzukulu wange ya mwana wange
as a birthday gift.
How the unfortunate bit is we are not monitoring the use of these phones.
So we are giving, because we are advanced, we have the money, we are giving our babies phones as birthday gifts, but we are not
monitoring the use of these phones. So it's a big challenge, and it has become one of the weapons that is killing morality in our society.
Morality.
It even goes, by the way, up to the families. Many issues with our marriages are related to the use of our phones.
You are reminding me of a call I received.
Related to the use of our phones. Okay? So we are not managing them well. And if we, the elders, are not managing,
what about
our
this
own
growing,
children?
the growing brain?
Now, the lower secondary curriculum we've been talking about, okay? It is one of the requirements that we shall eventually have to let go in our education institutions.
Because right now, I realize that schools must have internet. So in the computer labs, there should be internet for children to do research. But then you remember, as a country, for example, even globally, we are also struggling with a silent killer, that is pornography.
Exactly.
So how are we adding these pieces of things as relating to discipline?
So you can manage. Of course, there are some sites that you can block.
Yeah, by the way, safety online.
Safety online.
Yes, yeah.
That one is the only way we can manage. But continuously speaking to the children is becoming a necessity by all means. As a mother, as a teacher, it is becoming a necessity until, such a time when these children appreciate that someone can have a phone, but you don't have to open a pornographic site.
But did you read some of the newspaper? I don't remember. Was it the Prime Minister of where? Who is actually supporting a motion that children should not have phones until they are, was it 11 years or something like that? So I was reading his mind, like until the brain has developed up to a certain level of about maybe 70%.
But how many people will take heed? How many people will respond?
Yeah.
How many? The world has so many things that you cannot really control. Okay?
So go back to discipline.
It all begins, I think, first of all, with the parent.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Because one of the other challenges that we are facing in schools is the parenting. You have
Zauja,
school rules and regulations,
yes,
but then the parents are saying, parenting
let my children
is one
enjoy.
Let my children. I have akana kange nazala katika kibiriti mwana nze namuzaala ne mubaleetera, all these other funny stories. Okay, so one of the challenge that we have as teachers today is the nature of the parents that we have.
Because if I don't want to use the very strict but yeah, if the parent is a problem, Zauja, for me, I'm an intentional parenting coach. But let me tell you, what you are saying is actually the truth.
Yes, please.
Like, you send away a child maybe because of discipline, and then when the parent is there and is trying to argue, is actually already, victimizing you. Teachers of here, after all, you don't have the cars. After all, by the way, we don't have the cars that the parents are driving. The phone they are on.
The way they perceive the teachers and the teaching profession, and then the relationship you have with their children is like they're just helping you.
That is now a problem. If a parent thinks that they are helping you to bring their child, then there is a disconnect.
That is why even when they come to the schools, the gate man tells them, this is the book to sign in.
Yes.
It's not time to enter the school. Or some of these reasons say, my dear, are you not aware that it is my school fees that is making you look the way you're looking?
Book, even it is my fees that is buying the book.
The nature of the parents, and unfortunately a big number of them, is a problem. So the journey and the struggle about maintaining and improving disciplines amongst our children is a problem. Some of these parents don't believe what their children do, and they don't know them, and they don't understand them.
Zauja, I don't know whether you read my notes. The parents do not
understand their own children.
They do not know their children.
They do not.
They do not understand their children.
They don't.
Because they are here kuzoganya 24/7 work commitments.
Exactly.
Even when a parent is entering home, they are on phone. When they sit in the sitting room, they are on the soap that will go on over and over. So the parents do not know their children.
Do not know
you
their
the
children.
Teachers, Zauja, do you realize? One time I studied statistics and I'm like, oh my God, the teachers need to be empowered more than saying they are teaching our children. Actually, the language should change from teaching. Maybe they are facilitating or grooming our children. Do you realize, for example, in Uganda, and I know in most of the African or developing countries, that our children spend less than 3 months in total with us as biological parents.
True, very true. Most of the time they are in school.
First time,
by the way, even day scholars.
Even day scholars,
even day scholars. And I think this is the reason why Mama is so much against boarding schools.
Okay. It has some
so much against boarding schools.
Okay.
Right from primary.
Baby class in school. 4 years in boarding.
More in school. God. And then when it gets to holiday, we are saying go for coaching. Yes. And I'm happy this new curriculum does not really require children to go through all that.
Because it's not knowledge
they
based.
Must have time to understand culture, to understand home, to understand the family, to understand the parent, to do some of these course that they have to do as women, as girl child, as boy child. They must have time to interact with their parents.
Yeah, because as I was telling you about this. So when you look in the whole year, first term is about 3 months.
Exactly.
Then the children go back home to ask the biological parents for 2 to 3 weeks.
Maximum.
Then this second term is so long. It's about how many weeks?
Almost it's about 100. It's
about 3.5 months again. Then when they will come back for holiday, it will be less than 3 weeks or thereabout. Third term, another 3.5 months. Then third term is a bit of a long holiday. But in a nutshell, you realize that actually, if we are to give a call to action, government should really think how they empower you teachers in the school with this competence-based curriculum. How you should have activities that make you even parent more. Because we don't know our children.
That is what we actually do.
That's
what we do. We are more of these children's parents.
But then when we are there, then you increase school fees, then I will have to work more. So I will even not understand my child more.
Than they are real parents. So children are not having time to appreciate even their own social cultural environment. Okay.
Zauja, do you know at a point we thought that things of saying your culture are backward?
And then when they get to the university, they are in hostels.
I know.
They are in halls of residence. And then parents are thinking that they have grown enough, so they don't need them anymore. And then you see the mess that they really
then they start renting immediately because they can no longer fit in the home values and culture.
And that kind of environment, it has actually made a number lost. They either take on drugs, they are not able to study, some of them get married, and they are not able to continue. So time for graduation, as the parent is counting 3 years, 4 years, the course the child is, the number of years.
Yeah.
They go and they lie to them. Some of them go to the extent of printing books with their names, yet they have not been able to. So
I can't imagine how they are alive I can be if my child, oh God forbid, they go and reprint.
They go and
the books, the graduation books,
and their names are there, but when actually they have not.
Oh my
graduated.
God!
So now you say, why do you put all this effort into this bad habit instead of sitting down, concentrating? You read and get what you want.
Zauja, you are not touching this. I remember there used to be literature. I was very bad at literature, by the way. But there are certain things I'm now repicking because I'm transformational. That there used to be a saying that it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
Where does that put us now? Is it still?
The story has changed completely. Why? Omwana wange nze namwezaalira tomugambako.
My child.
You and me, we grew up when you would even every kuchalo you'd even kneel. But today a child comes to office and wants to pass you or go to the staff room.
Zauja, do you know recently I do mentorship in health facilities with soft skills. Do you know what the problem we are having in the health sector, for example, also that you find a nurse or a doctor, they come to the ward, they cannot even say good morning to their fellow
what kind of
doctors or nurses. Then for the patients, poor patients, they just look at you. What is the problem? Go and buy those medicines.
So the thing is
starting from before. That's what you are actually
That is what I am saying. That's what I'm saying. So someone grows in a home and does not even know. Now the struggle comes when she gets in school. She passes you and you say, oh, did you realize you're passing a teacher?
I know.
Why do you, even if it's a senior 1 child and you are in senior 6, what's wrong with saying hello, how are you, hi? The moment you fail to do these small things, then there is no way you're going to fix big things.
So charity begins at home.
I usually call them and I say, if you cannot say hello, how are you going to titrate? How are you going to dissect a rat in the lab? So kindly, in my school, when you see me, you must greet me. This is the way to go, because you reach there, you'll want something. You are passing someone going to the other office. You are not saying hello to the secretary.
Yet the secretary has the chore.
Has the information, even knows whether the other person is there or not.
Zauja, so that is emotional intelligence. Our children, in fact, starting with ourselves. Because even me, I also have a school in a way. I'm related to a school,
yes,
Jesus College School.
Yes, please.
But I also see parents who come on video, yes, and they never, because they come with supermarkets in the car.
Exactly.
They never try to understand what are they first of all inculcating in the child, that the budgets are elastic. Anything, if everything you want,
everything they want will come.
The parent cannot even enter the office of the administrator to sort of show this child that actually the administrator is the boss. So the parent comes with her or his supermarket in the car, and then they give the whole thing. Then you see them moving with the suitcases, almost dying because the suitcase is full of things. But it's just a
visitor's Sunday.
It is a visitor's Sunday. It is a visitor's day. So all these things come back to us as parents, and the parenting issue had better been addressed.
So, by way of giving advice, Hajat,
so what advice? What's your call to action? I want to pick
my
that.
call to action is every parent will pay for the indiscipline of their children.
When you say paying, then I feel
they
bad.
will pay for the indiscipline of their children. Because Hanifah, an indisciplined child, first of all, they pay. You want it or not?
You will pay.
You are the one who is visiting schools.
What goes around,
you are the one who
around.
is visiting schools. You are the one who is going for disciplinary issues. You are the ones who the one who is going through all this hard time. The child is moving between home and school. Yazize emisango gwe bakwatira buli wamu gwe bagobera buli wamu gwe bagoba buli kimu buli kimu
has the language of the parent. You know how they can be bragging
and they don't even
weighing you
they
like
don't
this.
even mind doing that to their parents when they are in office, school administrator's office with the parent. The child can do that. So
doing
in one
what?
way or another,
Doing
that
what?
that
weighing,
you have,
like
exactly.
You know how they can yes.
So you pay for it. How do you feel when your child does that to you in a head teacher's office? So you pay. The moment you fail to put your child right, spare the rod,
spoil
the child. You are going to pay for it. We have seen children who have gone to the extent of bringing men, their fiancés, their boyfriends, to their parents' homes. To their parents' homes. Okay?
Zauja, I had one child
we
was sent away. And then, they are also fake parents. So they pretend, I am the auntie of so and so. The person who came was like, these Gen Zs that I am the sister. I am the what? So they connive and they are like now the parents.
And they are like the parents.
Kumbe they are GFs
so
and
while,
BFs.
While your child is busy misbehaving and taking on to habits like drugs and what have you, and you are saying, oh, mwana wange,
my child.
I always tell them, for you, when your child misbehaves and fails to study, that doesn't mean every child is going to follow suit.
It is yours.
So it comes back
to you. So
it comes back to you. So let us wake up. Let us know our responsibility. Let us do what we are supposed to do as parents. Let us discipline our children the right way. Otherwise, there are so many things that are going around them. There are so many things that they are going through. There are so many things that are bombarding them from all directions. Peer pressure is coming. Drugs are on the way.
But Zauja, these days we have also another parenting problem.
Yes, please.
Do you know that parents can fight there in the school courtyard? I told you never to. Have you faced such things, or have you heard of such things? Because the mother and father disagree, or they are co-parenting, like the child, this holiday is with you, next holiday is with the father. So when VD comes, each of them wants to show that authority.
She's the parent.
I am the parent, I'm the one. So such scenarios, where do they leave this child?
So and that is wrong. Misplacement. No, you are coming to fight from school. What's wrong with you? Is it the best place? where you can solve these problems from.
I know.
What lesson are you putting across to the children, to the entire school community?
To the entire school,
to the entire school community. So that's what I said, that the parents themselves are a problem.
We have a parenting issue, yes.
Are a problem.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work that we need to do with the parents. But as education institutions, we stand strong and firm on our school rules and regulations. Parents who cannot, that's why I've said they keep on suffering.
You move from
move from one school to another. You move from one school to another.
Rules and regulations still should be important, even in this era.
Absolutely. They are very important, and parents have to sign on the school rules and
regulations.
Parents have to sign on the school rules and regulations. You either go with what the schools the school is saying.
Schools have philosophy. They have values.
We have values, we have missions, we have goals, we have objectives. So a parent must choose a school where she will be able.
If her values are resonating with
resonating well with
don't
the
come
institution.
Here to quarrel that also this school is over strict.
Otherwise, the choices are many. You
haven't touched a very important point.
What is that?
Are you realizing from my pediatrics and teenager expert work, I'm seeing a lot of sexual immorality. Like, what children are like, I should use the word, they are sort of sexually charged. You see a child, you talked of the phones and whatever. Is it something that you are also seeing in the education system? Because for me, I'm seeing it when children come for like holiday programs or that. So the sex, and especially because we are not talking about a boy and a girl, but we are talking about romantic relationships. Crushing. That children are crushing on each other. Is it something that...
they are a challenge. It is a challenge. And in our institutions, we continuously have to fight, because the moment the setup of your school, mixed single school, those ones have issues of lesbianism, homosexuality, and then the mixed schools, of course, those ones, coupling is a challenge and what have you. But it goes back to the school setting, the school administration and management. What rules and regulations do you have? We are aware this is what the children are. This is their age. This is their age. Okay?
The brain is looking for answers.
The brain is looking for answers. The body.
The happy hormones are high.
So how do you navigate?
Yes.
With these children through these problems, alongside the academic programs, there has to be a number of activities that engage them, that occupy their brains,
so that they don't
that occupy
get
their
so
brain.
Much of the sexual thoughts and but when they come back to holiday and they have their phones and internet is everywhere and they have free Wi-Fi.
Now this is where the parent comes into play their role.
You see, the parent is coming in again.
The parent comes into play their role.
I remember one time.
How are you following your children? Because I'm the one who bought the phone. I have the right to check your phone and see what you're doing.
Yes, and I have that right.
I have the right to look at your phone, to see what you're using it. I give you data. You are my son. You are my daughter.
I even have the right to open your bedroom.
Into your bedroom.
This is my house.
I bump into your bedroom. This is my house. It's midnight, and I see whether you are on phone or not on phone. So we have to devise means of seeing how best we can help these children. Sexual issues are with us.
Because the confusions
unfortunately, even the environments at home, even the way the parents are,
the way they are,
a one room,
the residential
places,
environments. In the Musawo, we have what we call an unannounced disclosure.
Exactly.
So things happen without intention, and then children, because we are in the information era,
and this is where they are staying.
Because do you know what, Zauja? For me, I grew up, my grandma actually told me until I was in P4 that the way I came to earth, the whatever
they just
opened
brought me, yeah.
and I dropped. Well, we shouldn't say they shouldn't know, but we are talking about age appropriateness.
Exactly.
Age appropriate information.
Exactly.
They should know that maybe the child has to, but the age appropriateness.
Sure.
So if you were now, for example, at a very high decision making table,
yes,
what 3 actions would you ask government to do, or parents, or school, the education sector? Because you are very passionate about what things, low-hanging fruits, you'd say that in schools this can be done. I know you've touched them a bit, but as we wind up this, I just want to be sure that I have a take home. What is supposed to be done? Kuno mulembe tukozechi. You are the educationist.
First of all, counseling and guidance must be very, very at the forefront of the programs that are in an education institution.
Okay.
At the forefront, counseling and guidance. Children, parents, and some of our teachers themselves.
Like you've put in teachers because also
they
some
really
teachers
they really need counseling and guidance to help these children to see how best they can go through all these challenges that they are facing. Okay, the challenges that they are facing. We still have a problem, but how do we manage ICT in education institutions?
Because you talked of the interdisciplinary.
How do we manage ICT? Now they need research. They have to go to the internet and look at some of these things. How do we use our phones in schools? How do we use our internet in schools? We must come up with a strategy that is going to see how best we can integrate
and protect the children's character, morality, and all those things.
Exactly. The children must learn how to work with this ICT.
You are with me. Do you know some parents? I have a parents platform, and some parents were saying, I will never give my phone to my child until they reach university. And then parents were there arguing what. Then they asked. Then she had earlier given a story how her child had helped her with the phone, that her phone had frozen. Then the child just said, "Mommy, do you know what? You have an outdated WhatsApp."
You don't give it to them, but they are accessing these phones.
Yes. So we shouldn't sabotage growth.
You don't give. Yeah, much as you may not say, but by some way, this child is accessing.
So we should have controlled exposure.
Controlled exposure.
Exactly.
By some way, this child is accessing a phone.
Yes.
You have mates, and you need to communicate with them, and they have phones. So when the child is at home,
I know.
These phones,
right, they can easily get that. After all, on video or on birthday, you give them a lot of money, so they can easily have their 150k.
And anyway, what is a phone? A phone is just a SIM card.
Yes.
So even if mommy hasn't given me, but Hanifah, my friend, has it in school, I just move with this small thing and I go with it to school.
Then I start jazzing.
Therefore, we just need to sensitize these children on how they can live with the phones. This is technology, it has come to stay.
But Zauja, do you know on those phones, with the social media, do you know there are characters that our children actually like to be and be like them? And most of them, the way they dress,
the artists, for example.
The way they dress, and those are people that our children want to emulate, or they are their role models.
Yeah.
Are you finding dressing like, is it something you think education sector should define, even the way people dress, like our parents and children?
I agree with you. In my institutions, for example, right at the main gate, we have a poster that describes how we need you to dress.
The decent dressing.
The decent way. or we at least we explained what we don't want on that poster. The way we don't want you to appear.
But
whether you are a male
some
or
parents
female
come
parents.
with the breasts popping.
I know it is encroaching on people's privacy, but as an institution, there are certain values that we must
Zauja, never fear. People have rights, but they also have responsibility.
Exactly.
Their responsibility is to respect
others,
the values and others in the school. So never feel guilty. Yes, our rights. But you have responsibilities not to hurt.
And it is very simple and clear. When you're coming, you have to be decent. As simple as that. Okay? You have to be decent. As simple as that when you come to school. So I think the students, for as long as they are students, they must dress decent.
Yes. Dressing. Okay? Yeah.
And in Uganda, by the way, Hajat, in Uganda, it's a law that even if public offices, there's a code of dressing.
You remind me, even in public offices,
there's a code of dressing.
Yes, you shouldn't dress in a way that is,
exactly
making people uncomfortable. And that's why immorality
even in public offices, there is a code of dressing.
Yes, you are very right.
If these children we are training, and you parents out there, wherever they are, you are part of.
You see, even us doctors, we have those codes. If I'm a doctor, they are trying to examine you, but then the breast pops out. I can't just imagine. So you are really saying that values, the school, the education sector, mission, visions, most of them are really very protective. They have a lot of decency.
Decency is human.
Decency is human,
Decency is human.
I like that.
Hey, decency is human.
No matter what, because people are telling us, guno omulembe. You've heard that. Hey. Guno omulembe. Values must be upheld.
The values must be upheld. That one we don't even have to debate about.
So Zauja, what are your closing remarks? Yes.
That's why you surprise people when you are appearing as if you're not dressed. Okay? So you
our days we used to put on petticoats. Do you know children of these days, they don't put on even bikers.
They call them bikers.
Yes. Some of them don't even put on bikers.
So
anyway, this has been a very inspiration. Do you know you've inspired me? If you didn't know, you have actually inspired me. But in the other way, I have learned a lot about the education sector.
Yes, please.
And I'm feeling like I am inspired. I've learned, I've gained knowledge, but also we have a lot to do.
Yes, we do.
But even with an elephant, I may not hold the whole elephant. This show,
part by part,
is actually part by part. I like that. Maybe today we are touching the ear of that big elephant in the education sector, for which she's so passionate about. Do you have anyone closing remarks so that
thank you, Dr. Hanifah, for this opportunity to speak to people close, far, and beyond. I must say that education is the way to go.
Yeah.
And all these other challenges that we are going through, to the parents, I appeal that they must keep their children in school. It is very important. Me and you, we are here because of education. Education is capital that will transform individuals, communities, society, and nations. So there is no way we can have a substitute for it.
No.
We must take our children to school. We must make sure that they get the education. We must make sure that education does not stop them from being human beings.
No way.
They should continue to behave well. They should continue to be disciplined. They should continue to remember that they have cultural identity. Okay? That they have cultural identity. They should continue to remember that they have social and gender responsibilities, okay? They have social and gender responsibilities. You are educated but married and a mother.
Yes.
I'm educated but married and a mother.
Yes.
So they should be respectful, okay? They should be respectful and live to what we call, or what we omuganda kyagamba nti weyisanga
atasoma. Like the way you are behaving really, you didn't go to school.
You didn't go to school. So the good thing, the sector is now very, very open.
Yes.
Very receptive.
Okay.
Children can learn in all the different ways. So
yes.
I am saying that parents should really ensure that their children go to school, and when they are in school, they make sure they gain why they have gone to the schools.
Oh yes. Okay. So thank you. I am picking those last two remarks, especially when you say that when the children go to school, they should know that schools have values, they have missions and visions, and they have the core values.
Yes, please.
So the immorality, or there would be a strictness that some of us as parents or other stakeholders see. These are the philosophies, these are the values that the schools, the education institution actually uphold. I also, from your talking, I realized that the saying of do the right thing in the right time, in the right place,
with the right person.
With the right person, especially when we are talking to our children, with the right person. That's critical, very critical. But I'm realizing that you people in the education sector, you have a multitude of stakeholders that need to be mentored or coached into all these other opportunities, but also into all these other challenges that they need to handle. Everybody around this child who goes to school, the matrons, the wardens, the school nurses, the teachers, the cooks, and all those people, they must hold to the values of the school. And then as parents, we are still the primary gatekeepers. Let's not run away. Tumuonya agenze kusomero. As in, holiday is over, let them go. No. And some parents say those things when the children are hearing.
Yeah.
We are the primary gatekeepers. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to translate that in Luganda. As in, the story can always be refreshed and refreshed and refreshed.
You have done it already.
This story has a lot of learning that we've had, and our dear viewers, from wherever you are, pick the positive, pick the learnings out of Hajat Zauja's story, who is actually a teacher. I don't want to say by inheritance, because the genetics of career has not yet been so much studied, but I know the environment influenced her to be the teacher, a mother, and a person who is so passionate about transforming and working with the growing brain. Those are the teenagers, both boys and girls. That is a wealth of knowledge. That's a wealth of understanding that I request our viewers, please, to pick up the learnings, practice some of those things that Hajat Zauja has mentioned, and then at the end of it all, we shall have a resilient and productive nation by having resilient and productive citizens in Uganda and beyond. Hajat, thank you very much. I'm feeling so excited. Thank you so much.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for hosting.
Thank you so much.